What you guys, got another video. I'm going to show you how to preserve your old PC environment, and this way I'm going to show you is a simple way to be able to boot up to exactly what you're seeing right here on your brand new computer. So you can see we've got one drive here on this system. It's a 2 terabyte drive. The important thing to remember here is if you are creating a VHDX file of this particular drive so you can boot to it, then you need to make sure that you have enough space on your new PC. Otherwise, it's not going to work, this method. But we're going to be using Disk2 VHD, and it's sysinternals, and we're going to be using this for free. It's on Microsoft's own website. You can download and put this onto your PC and use it for free. It will create a VHD or a VHDX file, and that's your disk. It will copy all of the partitions and put them into one file, and you'll be able to then use this file, and you'll be able to mount it, and you'll be able to then use it as a dual boot on your system on your new computer. Now, this is just one way of going about doing it, and again, this means it's completely portable and you can take it wherever you like from PC to PC. So I've downloaded the actual file here, and what we're going to do is extract it, and you can see there's 3 versions inside here. There is a VHD.exe, and then there's a VHD 64, which is 64-bit, and then we've got an ARM version right here. We're going to be using the 64-bit version here in the middle. So we're going to double click on this and open it up. Very simple and easy to use program. It should look something like that. We're going to make sure we've got use VHDX because this is the newer version, and that's the version we're going to use right here. Now I've got a large external drive here, so I'm going to copy it to this backup drive here. I'm going to create a folder inside here called VHDX, and we're going to basically copy our Windows 10 VHDX file into that folder so we can then copy it to our new computer. So let's go ahead and select save type, and we're going to save it inside that folder right there. Click save, and that's where we're going to keep it. So now you can use this on any computer as long as you've got enough space to run it. Now make sure you uncheck this large drive right here. Now you can see there's quite a bit of data used on this, and that was the mistake I made because there was lots of games on here which I should have probably uninstalled. But I'm going to use that volume shadow copy as well. We've got the 2 top ones check marked. I'm just checking here to make sure I've unchecked the backup, and we're going to go ahead and click on create. So all it's going to do now is create a VHDX image of all of the drive that we have in this computer. So we're just letting that go. Now, obviously, if you're copying this to an external mechanical drive, that is going to take quite a bit of time because it's a slower read and write on that drive. So be patient if you are doing that on a mechanical drive. This is going to a NVMe storage drive. So I'm going to go ahead and let that finish off. And once that's copied over, I'll show you what we're going to do with this file. Now, of course, you could clone the drive to a brand new NVMe drive inside an enclosure and put that NVMe drive into your new computer and create a dual boot that way. So you've got 2 separate drives. You can do that if you want to. This is just using a VHDX file, which is a virtual disk sort of file, and we can use that. So we're going to let that finish off here. And you can see it's now nearly finished, and we've done. It's exported that file successfully, so that's good. So now we can close off the application. It was that quick, and we now have our file. So let's quickly close that off, and we'll take a look inside of our external drive for our file that we just copied across. And it's inside this location right here, and there it is. Quite a large file because there was games installed on there. So just bear in mind that you would need a lot of free space on your new computer if you are planning on having all your games installed onto that actual drive that you're backing up. So if you've got an old Windows 10 computer and you want to quickly copy the drive, then this is how you can do it. You want to try and keep that size down if possible because this was too big in my honest opinion. If you're a light user and you just use the operating system and browse the web, it's going to be a very, very small size, and this is going to be ideal for you to use. So I'm going to open up my drive on my brand new computer here, and what we're going to do is go into the external drive right here, You can see our C drive right here. I'm going to paste it inside the C drive, and it's called VHDX, that folder. It's going to take some time to copy over. I'll speed this process up. So now we're copying it from our external drive to our new computer, and it's going to live right there. And that's it. So all we need to do is right click on it now and click mount, and this will mount our VHDX file, which is our Windows 10 operating system. And you can see it's give it a drive letter of E. Now, if we want to boot to this, we need to add in our boot order. So let's go ahead and do that right here. So we need to open up the command prompt. So I'm going to type CMD and run that as administrator. You get a little box popping up here, say yes to the user account control, and then the command prompt box will open up. Now from here, we need to type in here BCD boot. That is to add a boot record into our boot. So we can say we want to boot to that file. And now we need to tell it the drive of the location of that drive. So let's go E here because it was E : / and now just call it Windows, something like that. And then press enter. And that's now going to add that entry into our boot record. So let's go ahead and do that. And when we boot the system up, you should see boot file successfully created. When we boot up, you should see an option now for Windows 11 and Windows 10. So let's go ahead and restart the PC. And we're going to do that right here. And when we restart, you should see an option offering you Windows 10 or Windows 11, like so. So you can choose which one you want to do. So if you choose Windows 10 or Windows 11, it will boot up to that operating system. And this will allow you to use the actual computer again. And you can use it just like you would any other computer. It's just a virtual hard disk that we created, and we can boot up into Windows 11 as well. And you'll be able to use Windows 11 as well. Now, like I said, one problem with this method is you need to make sure that you have enough space on the drive. Otherwise, you're going to get an error because it will say you don't have enough space. So if you look at the C drive, it will show you how much space you have left on that drive. So if you've got a very small drive, it shouldn't be so much of a problem. But if you're starting to run out of space, you might run into issues. You can see we've used quite a bit of space up here because of that VHDX drive there. So if you want to remove it and get rid of it and go back to the way it was before, then I'll show you how to do that. Let me just quickly get rid of these files right here and clear some space up. They're quite large. And they're just temporary dump files. So I'm going to get rid of those. And we'll just remove the VHDX file. So let me go ahead and do that right here. So if you want to do it, what you can do is right click on this and you can delete the whole lot. So just make sure you're deleting the whole of the VHDX folder if you've called your folder that. You can call it whatever you like, but it will say here, you sure you want to delete this folder? I'm going to say yes, and it will go ahead and delete that from the system. Now we need to go into msconfig because we need to change the boot record back to remove that entry. Otherwise, you're going to see two options there. So type msconfig and then open up the system configuration area. Go to where it says boot here, and you'll see two boot records here. So we need to remove the Windows 10 version from here. That's our default operating system, the way it was set up. And what you need to do here is you need to highlight it and then click on the delete button right here and go back to just having Windows 11. Apply that, click OK, and then restart your PC, and it will boot straight into Windows 11, and you won't have that boot menu there anymore because we've just removed the entry from our boot menu, so we won't see it, and you'll be back at the desktop and be able to use Windows 11 again. Now, if you're only a small light user, then this is ideal. If you've got an old Windows 10 system and you want to create a virtual hard disk of that computer, then you can do like I've shown you right here. I would say if you're a light user and you only have a very little bit of space, then you can do it. But you can see how much space it took up here because there was lots of games and stuff installed onto that system, and that was not ideal really for this setup. But if you're a very light user, then this method might be able to be useful for you to be able to boot into your old Windows 10 system and continue to use it, albeit in a virtual disk environment. Anyway, with that said, my name has been Brian from bradtechcomputers.co.uk. Just want to say a quick shout out to all my YouTube members. Whether you supported me through tier 1, tier 2 or tier 3 support, I really do appreciate it. I hope you all have a lovely Christmas, and I shall catch you in the next video. Bye for now.